Hi, seventh graders. Welcome to the new year and new books for January. I hope that you're already in the middle of reading something good, but if not, this will add to your list. And even if you are reading something already, we'll hope that one of the books or more that I share today are going to give you some new ideas of some things that you might want to read coming up in the future. Before we get into the books today, just a reminder from the announcements over the last couple of weeks. I hope this has been mentioned in your advisory too, but our next Read Club meeting is going to be on Wednesday, February 10th. There will be information coming out on Schoology in the next couple of weeks with the Zoom link and the times for these meetings. But even if you haven't joined Read Club before, if you haven't been able to come to any of our meetings up until now, we would love to see you on February 10th. We're doing a Hogwarts escape room. In 30 minutes or less, we're going to hope to escape from Hogwarts and get ourselves out of the castle. So we'd love to have you join us, even if you have not read any of the Harry Potter books. We just need your brain. It's going to be a lot of codes and puzzles and just thinking through how to get out of these different little kind of brain teasers. And if you've ever done an escape room before, you know how fun and challenging those can be. And this one's a great one. So I look forward to seeing you there. And please send me a message on Schoology if you'd like to know more information. Again, on Schoology in the next couple weeks, there will be some announcements coming out about that. And then you just join the Zoom link on February 10th. All right, sharing with you just kind of a mixed bag of stuff today. I've got a little bit of everything. And so we're going to start today with a bit of a creepy story, Bad Girls Don't Die by Katie Allender. And I'll show you the trailer that comes along with this book just because it's always, I think, a good trailer. It entices me to read this story. This is about a high school girl named Alexis who feels like her life is kind of a mess at the moment. Her parents have been fighting. She has these girls at school who haven't been treating her the best. Her little sister is completely doll crazy, obsessed with dolls, and she's 12. And so it's not like this is a little sister who would be playing with dolls. You know, it's more like she collects them and talks to them. And her little sister is now doing some kind of unusual things, speaking in kind of old language. You know, it's still English, but she's using words that people in present day don't typically use. And there's times when Alexis, our main character, will be talking to her sister about something, and then a day or two later, she'll mention it, and her little sister doesn't even remember having had the conversation. So there's just odd things going on with her sister. There's also weird things happening in their house. Doors open and close by themselves. Water is boiling on the stove, but the stove isn't on. Lots of unusual things going on. And so Alexis feels a little bit like she's kind of losing her marbles. Let's take a look at the trailer to learn a little more about what's happening in her life and what might be at stake.
A lot of people shoot digital pictures, which is fine. It's just not for me. Taking a great digital picture is like finding something. But working with film, it's like making something. Besides, every minute I spend in my darkroom is a minute I don't have to spend thinking about the complete train wreck that is my life. Like my parents, who hardly notice my existence, except to remind me what an utter disappointment I am. And my sister, whose creepy doll collection has totally taken over her life. And the cheerleaders, who would love to get back at me for almost getting them all kicked off the squad. And then, of course, there's him. The boy I can't get out of my head, even though he's so totally not my type. So yeah, can you blame me for preferring to spend all of my spare time alone in my darkroom? God knows there's nothing else going on in this stupid town.
All right, if you love a book that has some mystery, some intrigue, that fantasy element of that creepy, unexplained, check this one out. There is a sequel to this book as well. If you've already read the first, be sure to look up Katie Allender on our library catalog and request this one today. If you are interested in one of our newest sports books, this one by Mike Lupica is in the library now, and we have all of his books. They're all fantastic. This is a favorite author for those that love the sports action. This one, Triple Threat, is a new purchase from our book fair, and so wanted to share this one with you today. This is the story of Alex, who has made up her mind to follow her dream of playing football. She's been a huge football fan ever since she can remember. She and her dad have watched every single Steelers game on television, and she knows that she has the talent. She has grown up throwing the football, playing it with her dad, playing it with friends in the neighborhood. This is something that has been a dream of hers for a long time, and now she has the opportunity to play on her middle school team. Up until now, she has not had any reason to feel that she shouldn't do it until she joins the team, and every single player on the team is a guy, and they have decided they don't want her there. She's a girl for one thing, and that seems to be, as you can see from the title, a threat to them. Plus, she's really good, and they don't really know how they feel about that either. This story is just a great one for anybody who has gone out to try something and has run up against some obstacles. Try out the Triple Threat and give this book a shot. Again, for those who are sports lovers, this author knows exactly how to put that action right on the page. Between Shades of Grey by Ruta, and I always have to check myself on this, it's Sepetys. This is historical fiction set during the time of World War II. Our main character, Lena, is pretty typical for a 15-year-old. She has things that she loves to do. She paints, she draws, she has crushes on boys, very, very typical, high school age girl. However, one night, in the middle of the night, Soviet officers barge into her family home and they split her family apart, taking her dad away into a crowded and dirty train car. And then Lena and her mom and her young brother are taken into another train. They're forced miles and miles away. They travel for days, very little food, water, etc. And they're taken to this work camp into a very cold place in Siberia. Here, they're forced every day. They are awakened at the earliest hours when it's still dark outside, and they're forced to dig for beets in the ground, and they are literally fighting for their life every single day under these awful work conditions. They really don't know each day if they're going to have enough food to eat. They are living in cramped quarters with hundreds of other people. There is disease. People are dying every day. Lena does not know if she's going to live or if her mother and brother are going to. And of course, the worst part is not knowing what has happened to her dad. As a way to get through this awful time, she uses her painting and her drawing. It's through her art that she finds some hope and some peace to get through a really difficult stage in her life. She takes a lot of risk in doing so if she were to get caught. doing this artwork. She could be tortured or worse, and she goes ahead and actually kind of keeps track of some of the events that are happening to her family in her art and tries to send these out there to her father, hoping they're going to reach him and hoping that it's going to connect them back together so that eventually their family can reunite. This book I cannot recommend enough. It is just an incredible story. It's a tearjerker, and it's a story you will not forget. You're going to want to read this author, everything that she's written, once you read Between Shades of Grey. Poisoned by Jennifer Donnelly, as you can tell, not only from the cover, but also from the quote I've put up there, is the story of a very famous fairy tale, but it is taking this fairy tale and breaking it apart. This is not your typical Snow White story. It's imagining what if the Snow White story was very different than the one we're all familiar with. Let's take a look at this video of Jennifer Donnelly telling us about her writing.
Hi everyone, this is Jennifer Donnelly, the author of Stepsister, and I'm here today with my lockdown buddy Dante to tell you a little bit about my newest book, Poisoned. Poisoned is a retelling of the Snow White fairy tale, and that is a fairy tale I have always loved. It scared me to death when I was a kid. Not so much because of the evil queen and the poisoned apple, but because of that mirror. Because it talked and it spoke in this spooky, hollow voice, and it told the queen everything that she wasn't, and she believed it. My whole life I've wondered about that voice in the mirror, wondering who it was and what he wants, and I wrote Poison really to unmask that voice and to try to silence it a bit. Sophie's an unlikely hero. She's an anxious girl, a misfit, one who's been told over and over again that she's lacking, that she's not enough. She's very soft-hearted and kind, and that makes her a big disappointment to her evil queen stepmother. During the course of the story, Sophie quite literally loses her heart, but on her quest to recover it, she learns that kindness is the greatest strength, and she learns that the things that make us all wrong are sometimes exactly the things that make us perfect.
She also mentioned, that book Stepsister, which we have in the library as well. And if you're interested in that one, which of course is a twist on the Cinderella story, you could take a look at that one by Jennifer Donnelly too. Brave New Girl by Rachel Vincent in our science fiction story. I love the cover to this book because it really hints at the theme of this book. Lets us know that Dahlia, 16, our main character, is, as you can tell from the story, a clone, for lack of a better word. She has been created to look exactly like every other face in the crowd. She is one of about 5,000 girls created to work for the greater good in her city. And so far, Dahlia's life has been just that. She does what she's kind of programmed to do and looks just like everybody else. But Dahlia has now developed feelings for someone. Trigger 17 is someone that she's met, and she finds him interesting and unique, and he seems to feel the same about her. And when she can't stop thinking about him, she realizes that must mean there is something wrong with her. Something about the way she was created. If she's having these feelings and he's having these feelings, there must be something wrong with both of them, and that's going to create a problem for their society. And that is where everything falls completely apart. This is the first book in a series. As you can see from the cover, it says, "There's a price to pay for standing out." Whoa. Check out this book, Brave New Girl. Find out, what does it mean to be unique in a world where fitting in is life or death. And last but not least, I wanted to end with a lighthearted, fun story, The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. We have so many of her books in our library, and they are all just great for when you need to escape, in terms of just kind of getting away from the world and its issues, its hard stuff. You're not looking for anything serious, really. You just want a story that's going to let you get away on kind of a vacation for a while. This is the perfect book for that, and so are all of the books by this author. Gia is our main character, and her boyfriend dumped her in the parking lot of her prom. Oh, geez. That's awful. She has to think pretty fast because she's been promising her friends that they're going to meet him. He doesn't attend her school, but she's been promising her friends, "You're going to meet my boyfriend. I can't wait for you to meet him. He's coming to the prom." Well, now she's been dumped. What is a girl to do? She decides she's going to find the first guy she can and pretend it's her boyfriend. Well, there's this good-looking guy standing there in the parking lot waiting to pick up his sister, and she begs him, "Please, just for 2 hours, would you just be my fill-in boyfriend?" And he agrees. He says, "Sure, I'll pretend to be your boyfriend for these 2 hours." And in the meantime, she figures that gives her a chance to win back her old boyfriend, right? She's going to convince her old boyfriend to take her back and they can be together again and everything will turn out just fine. Well, the problem is after going to prom with the fill-in boyfriend, she's no longer thinking about Bradley, the old boyfriend. She's thinking about the fill-in guy. She's thinking about the guy that she spent 2 hours with who was so kind to her. And suddenly, she's beginning to develop feelings for him. And just when she begins to wonder if she could begin to turn that fake boyfriend into the real thing, things get complicated with Bradley again. If you love a story with a love triangle and a girl trying to determine what to do next, real life relationships, and a little humor thrown in, The Fill-In Boyfriend or any book by Casey West would be the next great pickup for you. I hope something I shared today struck your interest, and maybe it's one that you'll put on hold to come pick up at the library. If not, and you just need something else to read, send us a message on Schoology for me or Mrs. Kump. We'd love to put together a book bundle for you, or if you have an author or a certain topic you want to read about, let me know, and I'd be happy to send you some recommendations. Thanks for your attention. I hope that you guys are doing well, and happy reading.